Hello, it's Saturday the 21st of November. You're tuned in to our 6 p.m. newscast coming to you from Arirang's news centre in Seoul. It's very good to have you with us. I'm Mark Broome. Our top story this evening, the UN Security Council has given its unanimous backing to a resolution that urges countries to take strong measures against the Islamic State group in Syria and Iraq. It comes a week after the deadly terror attacks in Paris. Now Hwang Ji-hye has the details.
Take all necessary measures to fight the Islamic State group. That's what the UN Security Council is calling on countries across the globe to do by unanimously adopting a resolution drafted by France. The resolution also urges countries to redouble and coordinate their efforts to prevent and suppress further attacks carried out by ISIS and other terrorist groups. In a rare diplomatic move, Russia itself, a victim of an ISIS bomb attack in the Sinai Peninsula last month, voted in favor of the measure. For years, Russia and the West have been at odds over the conflict in Syria. Moscow wants President Bashar al-Assad to stay, while the West believes Assad needs to go. This resolution, however, does not mention the UN's Chapter 7 that gives countries legal authorization for the use of military action. France and Russia have already been launching airstrikes on ISIS and rebel-held areas of Syria, though, arguing their actions are based on self-defense. The unanimous vote came just a week after ISIS launched its shocking attacks on Paris. 130 people were killed in those attacks, and many more were injured, many critically. Belgium has upgraded its terror alert to the highest level in Brussels, citing a serious and imminent threat. Authorities there have charged 2 people with involvement in the Paris attacks. Hwang Ji-hye, Arirang News.
Now, a 10-day nationwide state of emergency has been declared in Mali following the attack on a hotel in the capital Bamako by suspected Islamist militants. The government there says 21 people were killed, including 2 gunmen at the Radisson Blu Hotel. China's state-run Xinhua news agency says 3 Chinese nationals are among the dead. The US State Department said 1 US citizen was killed. A Malian jihadi group and a regional branch of Al-Qaeda have claimed responsibility for the attack. Mali has been fighting Islamist extremists since 2012, when militants took over much of the north of the country. Local and French forces managed to drive them out in 2013, but groups have re-emerged in the centre of the country in recent months. Now, over in the Malaysian capital of Kuala Lumpur, President Park Geun-hye attended the ASEAN Plus 3 summit, which includes 10 ASEAN nations and their 3 Northeast Asian dialogue partners, namely South Korea, China and Japan. The presidential office of Chong Wha-dae said the leaders reviewed the progress of their cooperation in economics, finance and science and discussed measures for further cooperation. Now, attention is on whether the contentious issue of the South China Sea dispute was discussed. China has been pushing for land reclamation projects in the South China Sea, creating significant tension with the US and a number of Southeast Asian countries. Now, separately, President Park also held her first summit with Australia's new Prime Minister, Malcolm Turnbull, who took office in September. On Sunday, President Park will attend the East Asia Summit, an annual meeting with the ASEAN leaders and its 8 dialogue partners, including the US, China and Japan, for discussions on regional issues. South Korea's National Assembly Speaker is en route to Germany for talks with parliamentary leaders there on the peaceful reunification of the Korean Peninsula. Officials say Jung Eui-hwa and a small group of ruling and opposition party lawmakers will stay in Germany for 6 days. Jung is expected to ask German lawmakers for their support for Seoul's efforts to peacefully reunify the 2 Koreas. The group will also use their time in Germany to deepen bilateral relations between Seoul and Berlin. Germany is one of South Korea's biggest trading partners in Europe. Trade between the 2 nations surpassed $28 billion last year. The US government has reissued a warning advising Americans to avoid travelling to North Korea, renewing its last warning made in April. The US State Department said there was a risk of arrest and long-term detention due to North Korea's, quote, inconsistent application of its criminal laws. It said North Korean authorities have arrested Americans who entered North Korea on valid visas, as well as US citizens who accidentally crossed into its territory. The State Department said that US citizens still wanting to travel to North Korea should first contact the US Embassy in Beijing. Now, as part of its ongoing probe into the massive anti-government protests in Seoul last weekend, police have raided the offices of several labour groups. The Seoul Metropolitan Police Agency says officers searched 12 offices of 8 labour unions, including the Korean Confederation of Trade Unions, on this Saturday. That's the first time police have raided the headquarters of the KCTU since it was founded back in 1995. The authorities say a small minority of the estimated 70,000 demonstrators were responsible for violent and other illegal acts during the protest. However, the unions accused the police of a heavy-handed response that included firing tear gas and water cannons at the protesters. The rally, arranged to protest the government's labour reforms and plans to overhaul history education in schools, was the largest held in Seoul since 2008. Now, reduced nicotine cigarettes are a popular choice for smokers here in Korea, and there is a common perception that they might be the lesser of two evils. But are they really any less unhealthy than regular strength cigarettes? Our Park Se-young has the details.
Cigarette smoke contains over 4,700 chemical compounds, including nicotine, the highly addictive and harmful substance found naturally in tobacco. In recent years, there's been a push for regulations to limit the nicotine in cigarettes, and those efforts just got some support thanks to a new study by a research team in the U.S. From mid-2013 to mid-2014, 780 participants were given the option of smoking regular cigarettes or switching to low-nicotine cigarettes for 6 weeks. When the time was up, the participants who had been smoking cigarettes containing 2.4 milligrams of nicotine or less per gram of tobacco were smoking about 30% fewer cigarettes than those who smoked cigarettes containing 15.8 milligrams per gram. The smokers who were given the cigarettes with lower nicotine levels smoked an average of 15 or 16 cigarettes a day, while the high nicotine group averaged 21 cigarettes per day, demonstrating the benefits of lowering the nicotine in cigarettes. The researchers emphasize, however, that less nicotine does not equal less harm to the body.
It may seem like smoking low-nicotine cigarettes brings in fewer toxic substances, but that's not true. Smokers tend to inhale more deeply and more often, resulting in similar amounts of toxins.
The study, published in the New England Journal of Medicine, also found that reduced nicotine cigarettes had little impact on a smoker's ability to quit. However, those assigned to the low-nicotine products were twice as likely to report having tried to quit than the others. Park Se-young, Arirang News.
Now, the emissions cheating scandal continues to get even more toxic for Volkswagen. The US Environmental Protection Agency now says cheating software is on even more models, stretching back several years, in fact. Volkswagen told the EPA that defeat device software is on about 85,000 Volkswagen, Audi and Porsche vehicles with 3-litre engines going back to the 2009 model year. The latest development means more Volkswagen, Audi and Porsche owners in the US and elsewhere could face recalls of their cars to fix the software. It also means Volkswagen could face even steeper fines and extra scrutiny from US regulators. Now, there's an exciting night of sport lined up for fans of baseball. Korea is going to take on the United States this evening in the final of the inaugural Premier 12 baseball tournament happening in the Tokyo Dome. The US team beat Mexico 6-1 in their semi-final on Friday. Now, the final itself gets underway at 7 p.m. Korea time. That's in about 50 minutes from now. And good luck to the Korea team in that game. Now, finally, taking a look at the weekend weather. It's going to feel pretty cold across the entire country tonight. In Seoul, we'll see temperatures dip to just 4 degrees Celsius. It's going to be pretty chilly on Sunday as well. The high is only going to reach 14 degrees Celsius in the capital. With that, let's take a look at the weather around the world. Well, that's all we have for now. Do enjoy the rest of your Saturday wherever you're watching us, and stay tuned to Arirang TV. We'll be back with our next newscast at 10 p.m. Korea time. Till then, goodbye.